From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President.
Welcome to This Week with the President, a program which takes an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of Guyana's president. In the highlights this week, President leads delegation on economic mission in the Bahamas. President appoints Acting Chancellor and Chief Justice, and Department of Environment officially launched. Stay with us. On March 1, the President led a delegation to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas on what he described as an economic mission. He believes that Guyana has much to learn from the Bahamas, which has capital and a successful model for the development of its tourism and financial sectors. The President was accompanied by Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Granger, Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Noel Holder, and Minister of Business, Mr. Dominic Gaskin.
I think you have been a splendid example to the rest of the Caribbean community. We have the resources, and Bahamas has the capital, it has the expertise, and it's a matter of combining capital with land resources. Guyana, Belize, and Suriname together are bigger than Germany. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a world-class community. And we need to continue to work within the Caribbean community to make better use of these resources.
Each regional jurisdiction has something to offer, and as such, there is much scope for cooperation among states in terms of technical assistance, exchange of experiences, and capacity building.
Well, we've got to learn from each other. We've got to stick together, and it is through the mechanism of the community, particularly the half-yearly or the yearly intersessional and the yearly summit, that we share these ideas. In fact, in the area of tourism, the three mainland states, Belize, Guyana, and Suriname, have articulated the need to broaden the tourist product so that people coming into the Caribbean wouldn't just see a beach or a palm tree, but they'll also see some of the ecotourism, the depth. I see Guyana, Belize, and Suriname as the hinterland of the Caribbean. So we are a blessed region, and we're not a sort of monochromatic image to the rest of the world. And I'm convinced that if we can combine our talents and our resources, we can offer a world-class product. Bahamas is already a world-class tourist destination, and we would like to learn how you all have been able to do it.
The head of state also spoke of the importance of improving education and the creation of the conditions that encourage entrepreneurial growth to create employment and eliminate poverty. He said that a high standard of education coupled with the availability of entrepreneurial opportunities will offer young people in the Caribbean hope for the future. This, he said, is an objective that is shared by the governments of Guyana, the Bahamas, and the rest of the region. Following meaningful consultations with the political opposition, the President appointed Justice Cummings Edwards as the Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary and Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire as the Acting Chief Justice. The President met with the opposition leader, even though he is empowered by the Constitution to make these acting appointments without consultations.
The Constitution provides for consultation between the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Leader of the Opposition with respect to the appointment of a Chancellor and a Chief Justice. What we were consulting on this afternoon was the positions to be acting positions, and therefore, while the consultations for a substantive position requires the agreement of the Leader of the Opposition, for the positions that are acting, it requires for the Leader of the Opposition to be consulted. And once he's consulted, then that is basically what is the requirement. The substantive posts of Chancellor and Chief Justice were advertised, and applications have been received as recommended by the President. So far, a panel has been established, which comprised of former Justice of Appeal, Ms. Claudette Singh, and Mr. James Patterson and Mr. Harold Lutchman, who are expected to produce a report that will inform his decision. The panel, of course, met, and we are awaiting the report of that panel. Once that is submitted to His Excellency the President, he will in due course make his decision on the matter. But clearly what we have done, we have put in place a very transparent process, and we believe that this is basically going to send a signal for many other areas in public life Sometimes we look at the television and we want to emulate what is happening in the United States of America. We have an opportunity to do that here right now. Because when a judge is to be appointed to the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court of the United States of America, there's a whole process of questioning and things like that. What we have done is to basically introduce a process which will add to the entire architecture of the legal system in this country.
Further consultations will be held to appoint the substantive Chief Justice and Chancellor.
We will have to have consultation. So at that point, the leader of the opposition will be invited to consultation, to be consulted. That process also requires that he be given in advance the names of the persons who are proposed, the CV of those persons, and all information which we will have at our disposal. And that information would come out from the interviewing process which took place recently. So we'll submit all of that information to the leader of the opposition so that he will recognize that the choice which was made was a good one.
Residents of Sophia are now benefiting from improved access to potable water and enhanced road infrastructure following the implementation of a multi-million-dollar Government of Guyana project, which includes a new ring road and a water production and distribution system between C and D fields. Sophia is the biggest ward in Georgetown, and over the past 20 months, a number of projects have been implemented with the aim of improving living conditions for its 21,000 residents.
This community cannot be transformed by government alone. We need the support of all of the residents, all of the citizens. We need the support of civil society. We need the support of the municipality. So all four of us working together, citizens, civil society, municipality, and central government, we can transform Sophia and make this a destination that people want to come to Sophia because they can buy their crafts, they can buy food stuff, they can buy all sorts of products which are not available in other parts of the town or the country.
The head of state also urged the residents to become more environmentally conscious and to focus on enterprise and entrepreneurship, which will reduce poverty and improve their way of life. Meanwhile, Minister of Public Infrastructure Mr. David Patterson informed that approximately $825 million was spent on roads in Sophia, and that in the coming months an additional $60 million will be expended on infrastructural works in the area.
Already, as you probably will see, there are tenders out for road works in Plum Park. There's also tenders in Front Road, Block E. And of course, we have Councillor Marks. There's additional works in D Field, which you'll be pleased to know. We also decided, and this idea came as a direct request from His Excellency, who remarked one day, he was returning to Georgetown, and he remarked that on his way into Ogle, everywhere else was lit up except Sophia. So wherever we constructed or rehabilitated a road, we installed street lights. And some of you, if you have the opportunity to fly over Sophia at night now, you could recognize that you are now an up-and-coming and emerging ward, rightfully so in the township of Georgetown.
At the commissioning ceremony, which was held on February 24, First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger and Minister of Social Protection Ms. Amna Ali together presented 40 bicycles to the children of Sophia under the President's 5Bs initiative. The country's Green State agenda was advanced a step further this week with the official launch of the Department of Environment. This department will be tasked with the development of a plan of action to ensure the achievement of the Green Agenda. It will ensure that all agencies concerned with the environment and sustainable energy generation play their part in Guyana's transition towards the Green State. As Guyana moves closer towards the goal of full renewable energy use and is taking specific actions to improve forest management as part of the intended nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement on climate change, it requires the collective actions of all agencies, authorities, boards, commissions, departments, and ministries of the state.
On October the 1st, 2016, the government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana formally announced the separation of the environment portfolio from the Ministry of Natural Resources and the establishment of the new department, the Department of Environment, under the Ministry of the Presidency. This policy shift represents the government's priority to have all agencies with an environmental mandate coordinated and integrated under the Department of Environment. It also represents the government's commitment to ensuring a holistic and rationalized approach to environmental conservation and management through the coordination and integration of agencies with an environmental mandate into a unified unit that can effectively respond to the green economy and the concept of a sustainable development.
The department has already piloted wide stakeholder consultations as a first step towards developing a framework to guide the development of Guyana's Green State Development Strategy, which will lay the foundation for inclusive green economic growth for achieving sustainable development targets.
This department is expected to play a pivotal role in national development. It must coordinate the work of all those agencies which are concerned with the environment and with sustainable energy generation, two of the principal pillars of our green agenda. The department will also be required to work with other agencies to ensure that the green agenda remains on course.
President Granger said that upon taking office, it was discovered that there were a number of agencies without the means or mechanism to collaborate, coordinate, and cooperate with each other, and that this would have led to disjointed environmental stewardship and energy development. It is expected that the Department of Environment will remedy this problem and allow for a sharper focus on the environment.
Our country possesses a powerful resource which, if it is efficiently managed, requires a national cooperation, national collaboration, and national coordination of our efforts. The Department of the Environment was established as a separate entity to keep abreast with current global environmental conventions and regional and national practices.
Guyana was recently accepted as a member of the Partnership for Actions on Green Economy, an initiative which was launched in 2013 in response to the call to support those countries wishing to embark on greener and more inclusive growth trajectories.
Our acceptance to this initiative is timely, given our own push towards achieving a sustainable green economy. It will no doubt provide us with the necessary and needed support to reframe our economic policies and practices to foster economic growth.
This week, the President convened the first ministerial conference for 2017, during which major policy positions were discussed in key areas such as the Guyana Sugar Corporation, the education and housing sectors, and foreign relations. While cabinet meetings are held weekly, this forum allowed for all ministers, including non-cabinet ministers of government, to discuss major development plans and programs for 2017, and it ensures coordination of work programs and policies.
Once a quarter, cabinet together with the non-cabinet ministers meet. So we're all, in a sense, singing from the same song sheet. Although we know that the cabinet ministers brief their juniors, it is important that we speak to each other frequently so that there is no misunderstanding or lack of coordination in the various positions that we take. Particularly this first cabinet conference for 2017 is concerned with the issues such as the Sugar Corporation, education, housing, certain aspects of finance, which we felt required more in-depth discussion so that the ministers have a much deeper understanding. They can go out and explain our policy. And similarly, since the ministers come from a different parties, 6 different parties, and they come from different parts of the country, they bring different experiences to bear. So it's a very important interaction for the cabinet.
With regard to the relationship among members of the coalition, the President expressed full confidence that Mr. Raffle Trotman, who is the new leader of the Alliance for Change, is just as committed as his predecessor to making the political alliance work. And now let's take a look inside the President's diary. During the week, the President met with the Carter Center's country representative, Mr. Jason Calder, who updated him on the status of the U.S. $297,000 Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative project, which is being spearheaded by the center. The President was also paid a courtesy call by China's ambassador to Guyana, Mr. Chu Jianchun, who informed him of a plan to convene a forum to further engage government in discussions so as to identify priority areas in which the two countries can collaborate. With that, we've come to the end of this week's program. Thank you for joining me. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, go to our website, www.motp.gov.gy. Like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. Do have a safe and productive rest of the week. Goodbye.